This is Femi again at Travel Like a Black Woman, and currently I'm in Texas near Dallas, Fort Worth, visiting family. I actually did a surprise visit with my family down here and having a good old time. Happy New Year. Hope you had a great holiday season and ready for 2018. I know I am. So in this video I wanted to address basically what I did in order to make a successful trip outside of the US. For me, I went to South Korea. This was the end of October, beginning of November time frame. I went there for 13 days. So I wanted to talk about how I was able to do it and not spend a lot of money. Okay, so let's just get down to it. So the first thing that I do is a lot of research. Rephrase that. Not a lot of research. I actually do quite a bit of research because I'm a perfectionist, but for most people they don't need to do that much research. So when I say research, I'm not talking about an in-depth history lesson of that country, although that might help with conversations at the dinner table or whatnot. But I'm talking about basics, basically the culture, the customs, what is considered normal, what is considered rude, that kind of research. Any country that you want to visit, you kind of want to do your due diligence and just make sure that you understand just the basics on what to do and what not to do when you're visiting. So after you've done your research of the country that you desire to go, then you want to do what I call the Big Four. What are the Big Four, you ask? So for me, it's usually airfare, hotel, transportation when you get there so you know where you're going to be able to get around, and food, how you're going to eat. Big Four. So let's just get right into it. So in order to figure out how much it's going to cost to fly at the destination you're desiring to go to, and how much it's going to cost for you to stay there, some of the things you have to realize is, are you going to be staying at a hotel? Are you going to be staying at Airbnb? Are you going to be staying with friends? Because some people do have friends in different countries and they end up staying with their family. There's others that just happen to have family there and just never seen them before or for a while. So that's what you have to figure out if you're going to be using a hotel or any other accommodation. For me, I use a hotel. I don't have any family in South Korea. So basically what I did was I did research online for airfare and hotel. It brought me to Expedia. Most people do research anyway online, so this is really nothing new. But it brought me to Expedia, the website. But here's what I did. I researched how much it would cost me to be there for 13 days and found that they have bundles. A bundle is basically airfare and hotel fare put into one. Sometimes they'll even have transportation, like if you wanted to rent a car in the bundle. And then that way, because you're buying a bundle, you're saving a little bit of money doing that way. But here's what I did. So I found a bundle deal that I liked. It cost around $1,315 to go to South Korea for 13 days at his beautiful hotel, 3-star, 4-star hotel. It was gorgeous. I had a great time in that hotel. I'll tell you about that in another video. And what I did next was I actually called Expedia. I don't normally buy things right off the bat when I see them online unless it's a really, really good deal. Now, when I say really good deal, it doesn't necessarily mean cheaper. It just means you're getting more bang for your buck. Make sense? Okay. So I called them on the phone, and while I'm looking at the deal online, I'm negotiating the price on the phone. Now here's how that usually plays out. You would tell the customer service person what you're looking at, the dates that you're trying to travel, and because they want your business, they're going to try their hardest to find a better deal within those parameters, which is what ended up happening. And because it happened, I ended up spending $1,270 for the same deal that would have cost me almost $1,400 with taxes and whatnot. So with taxes and everything, it cost me about $1,270. Not bad. So that's how I was able to take care of the hotel and the airfare. Okay? Next is transportation when I got there, and food. In South Korea, and this isn't always common for every country, so this is why research matters, but in South Korea, they have an excellent transportation system. Similar to the New York subway station, but add technology to it. Here's what I mean. They have this card, I'll show it to you at the end of the video, I don't have it with me right now, but they have this transportation card, pretty much a prepaid card, that you can load money on, and you can use that for train fare, bus fare, and the cab fare, if you want to use any of those transportation choices throughout the city. They also have an app that is all about their train system. So if you're a foreigner and you don't know where to go, or you rephrase that, you don't know how to get from point A to point B using the train, they have an app for that. And I'll talk about that in another video. But they have apps where you can go from where you're at to where you're going and save time doing that way, and know exactly which train to take, where your transfers are if you need to take a transfer, if you have to walk to another train from a train, to do your transfer. They actually have all that in the app and tells you how long it's going to take for you to get from point A to point B. It's perfect. The other app that I used was when you're outside of the train station. So if you're walking, if you're taking the bus, there's an app for that as well in South Korea. And basically you do the same thing. It uses Google Maps or something similar. It tells you exactly where you're at. It tells you how far you are from where you're going, and it tells you point for point directions on how to get there, whether you're walking, taking the bus, taking a cab, biking it, really doesn't matter. It tells you how to get there. And it even gives you voice commands if you're one of those people that need to be told how to get to point A, point B. I actually use the voice commands just to make sure I got the street names right. So it's, in my opinion, it's really difficult to get lost in Seoul as a foreigner, not knowing the place at all from day one. It was so easy to get around. It was amazing. So I was able to transport around with my little card. I think I probably spent no more than $10 a day with traveling everywhere, and that's because I was traveling everywhere. It was almost like I was trying to spend money. I traveled everywhere, to the palaces, Namsan Tower, all the different touristy spots that you can find, and spots that weren't always considered touristy. I went everywhere. So I spent a good amount of money, but it was worth it, because coming to the next point, which is food, I hardly spent any money at all. And you might find this in some countries as you travel, that food is cheap. When you're buying, or if you're going to a restaurant, it's not always expensive. So what I did was, there was 3 types of places I was going to in South Korea. I did go to restaurants when I was meeting friends, for the Korean barbecue type places, both mid-grade and high-end. I went to the local, shops for breakfast and things like that, if I wanted to get that homey feel. And then there was street food all over the place. You probably would spend no more than $1 or $2 for, street food. And I mean, street food here is bananas. It is fantastic. I could probably live off of just street food. Seriously. You should be able to see that video on my channel on YouTube and on Facebook Watch, but the food was just fantastic. I probably spent no more than $4 or $5 on a daily, everyday basis on regular food like breakfast, lunch, and then I probably spent, I want to say, no more than $20 for dinner, and this is with friends. If it was just myself, I wasn't spending that much, not even close. So I would budget myself maybe $50 a day, to go and enjoy myself, whether I was, running around taking pictures, doing the tourist thing, or eating with friends, or visiting places that require you to pay to get in. I barely spent half that a day. It was ridiculous how cheap it was. And when I say cheap, I don't mean like I had to go to the cheapo places to have a good time. I mean, I went to pretty much everywhere that you would normally want to spend money on, and I was spending maybe $25 a day just by myself going to all these places. And you'll see what I mean when I put up all the videos of all the certain places that I went to. Some places were even free to go to. You just have to pay for food or something, right? So those are the big four. Transportation, meaning the airfare, the hotel, food, and transportation when you got there. For that specific country, it was a fantastic time. So that's how I was able to spend not that much money and still had a great time. I think I was there 13 days. Altogether, I spent, and I'm talking about airfare, transportation, food, everything. I spent maybe $1,300. I would probably take $100 off that. No, I'm sorry. I probably spent, because I forgot, it was $1,272, right? So I probably spent about another $200 or $300 for everything else. So $1,500 was what I spent on a vacation in South Korea for 13 days and was able to experience pretty much everything. So that's it, folks. That's how I was able to do it. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions about anything at all. As far as the trip is concerned, subscribe if you haven't already, and like this page. It actually helps out the channel. And hope to see you again on the next trip on Travel Like a Black Woman. See you then.